The Dragonback Series by Timothy Zahn. Book 6 Dragon and Liberator. Chapter 22. Jack had just unwrapped a ration bar when he heard a crackling sound through the deck above the crawl space where he and Dracos had taken up temporary residence.
"Attention, Jack Morgan!"
A familiar voice called, the tone muffled by the deck.
"This is Arthur Neverland." "He's not actually there,"
Draco said into Jack's mind.
"He's speaking through the ship's intercom."
Jack nodded. He'd already figured that one out.
"Jack, I know you can hear me,"
Neverland continued.
"I have something here that I believe belongs to you."
There was a short pause. "Jack?" a new voice called. It was Allison. Jack felt his heart seize up. "Oh, no." "I'm sorry, Jack," Allison said. Even through the deck, Jack could hear a slight quavering in her voice. I couldn't. Ah!" Involuntarily, Jack twitched. The pain in her voice right then.
"Don't worry, Jack,"
Neverland said.
"She's not seriously hurt. Yet. But that could change." "Steady, Jack,"
Draco's cautioned.
"He's trying to draw us out into the open."
Jack grimaced. He knew that, but knowing it didn't help his tight muscles in the slightest. And if Allison was being tortured, what had happened to Tanim? Surely this time Neverland and Frost couldn't possibly have missed finding the Kadah writing on her skin.
Believe it or not, though, you're in a more serious position than she is,"
Neverland went on.
"You see, now that the fleet has reassembled, all my ships are available to me, including the troop carrier with plenty of passenger space aboard. I presume you understand the full ramifications of that."
"Do we?" Jack asked.
"Unfortunately, we do,"
Dracos answered grimly.
"He can now take all the crew and passengers off this ship, put them in the carrier, and open our ship to vacuum."
"Terrific," Jack replied, glancing around the crawl space. "I don't suppose you know where some vac suits are stashed."
"Even if there are any still aboard, it would be a futile gesture,"
Dracos said.
"Vac suit oxygen supplies are limited to a few hours at the most, while Neverland can leave the Brumgas in the carrier almost until the Kadah Shantine fleet is due to arrive."
"Which is what, another 10 days?
"Unless they're ahead of schedule,"
Dracos said.
"Call it somewhere between 4 and 10 days. We can't possibly hold out here that long."
"Aren't there any spare oxygen tanks?"
"Only a limited supply,"
Dracos said.
"and most of them are in 5 centralized locations. Neverland could easily destroy them before the crew was evacuated." "So, it's up to you,"
Neverland went on.
"I'd actually prefer to have you alive, and if you come out now and surrender peacefully, I'll give you my word you won't be harmed. But bear in mind that this is a limited time offer."
With another crackle, the intercom went silent. "Okay," Jack said, trying to think. "If we can't hold out, what are our other options? Assuming we can find a vac suit, can we sneak outside and float our way to one of the other ships? Or could we even take over the Foxwolf itself and fly it somewhere?"
"I doubt either plan would work,"
Draco said reluctantly.
"The other ships will surely be too far away for us to make a quick transfer. And of course, there's no practical way to hide either our departure or our crossing. As for taking command of this ship, Neverland will surely be prepared for us to try that."
Jack swallowed. Suddenly, the crawl space seemed a lot tighter than it had before. "So what are we going to do?" For a moment, Dracos was silent, his background thoughts rushing past Jack's mind like the rapids of a mountain stream.
"We surrender,"
the Kada said at last.
If all he wanted was our deaths, he could simply have removed all the Brumgas and suffocated us as he threatened, without giving us a warning.
So if he doesn't want us dead, what does he want?
I don't know,
Dracos admitted.
But if we stay here, we'll surely die. Alive even in Neverland's hands, there's always hope.
Jack took a deep breath. 11 years worth of Uncle Virgil's warnings and counselings flowing through his mind. Run away! Protect yourself! Don't stick your neck out for anyone! Run away! Run away! Run away! But he couldn't run away. Not this time. Okay, he said with a sigh. Let's go. Even with Neverland's promise, Jack half expected them to be gunned down as soon as they emerged from the tween gap. Certainly there were enough armed Brumgas waiting to have made quick work of them. But apparently, for once, Neverland had been telling the truth. Okay, I'm here, Jack said, trying to sound as if stepping into a circle of guns was something he did every day. So we see, a tall human said as he pushed his way through the wall of glowering Brumgas. Lieutenant Pickering, captain of the Foxwolf. His eyes flicked up and down Jack's form. I trust your friend is with you?
I am here,
Dracos confirmed, lifting the top of his head from Jack's shoulder. Pickering didn't take a step backward, but Jack had the feeling that he very much wanted to.
Yes, I see.
He lifted a finger and beckoned. And to Jack's surprise, Langston stepped into view.
Hello, Jack,
the other said darkly.
Nice to actually see you this time.
It's not my fault you can't walk and read at the same time, Jack countered, picking up instantly on the cue. Langston must have played Frost the same scenario he'd pretended to play for Jack, that he'd been too busy studying his notepad to focus on the pilot who came out of that KK-29 patrol ship. Come on, let's get this over with. Langston jerked a thumb over his shoulder.
This way.
They walked in silence to the docking bay. Brumgas lined the whole route, most of them fidgeting with their guns. Langston stepped to the side of the open hatchway and gestured Jack to go in. Jack did so and found himself in the KK-29 he'd borrowed from Chiggers back on Bentry. I would have thought they'd have moved it by now, he commented.
They did,
Langston said, coming in and closing the hatch.
Frost had it brought back for the occasion. Come on, you might as well sit up front.
They headed forward to the cockpit. The ship was all powered up, Jack saw as he sat down in the co-pilot's seat. So were the weapons boards, he noted with interest. A functional ship with functional weapons, he pointed out as Langston took the pilot's seat. You'd think they'd wanted us to make a run for it.
It does look that way, doesn't it?
Langston agreed. He checked his displays and hit the release control, and the patrol ship floated free.
Maybe they do. Maybe all this is just more of Frost's fine weave rope.
Could be, Jack conceded. He's probably hoping we'll try something and he'll have an excuse to blast us to dust.
I don't think so,
Langston said as he eased in the drive, moving them away from the Foxwolf.
See those Gin 90s over there?
Jack peered out the canopy where the other was pointing. In the distance, he could see 3 of the heavy fighters drifting silently along.
Looks like they're minding their own business, doesn't it? And that's the point. They are minding their own business, Langston said. So is everyone else. If we make a break for it now, we could be on Echo before anyone could stop us.
Jack frowned, searching the sky. He didn't know nearly as much as Langston did about military ships and tactics, but he was willing to trust the other's judgment. So what's the scam? He asked. They want some practice with the death?
What death?
Langston countered.
The only one left is on the Advocatus Diaboli, and it's way out of position to hit us back here.
Then maybe we're booby-trapped, Jack suggested. Langston shook his head.
I already ran a check on the air system and did a quick visual, he said. There's nothing aboard they could use to gas us, and they sure aren't going to blow up one of their ships just to take us out. They need all them they can get.
Jack chewed on the inside of his cheek. Dracos? He asked. What do you think?
I agree with Sergeant Langston,
the Kadas said from his shoulder.
The entire setup is strange.
So what do?
We continue on to the Advocatus Diabli,
Draco said. Because of Allison, I suppose? Jack asked.
In part,
Langston said.
Yeah, I was afraid of that, Langston muttered. I don't know, Dracos. Something about her seems fishy to me.
Join the club, Jack said dryly. But you know how stubborn Kada poet warriors can get when they're being noble.
I suppose.
Langston looked sideways at Jack, a crooked smile on his lips.
Luckily for me.
Jack!
A whispered voice came from Jack's comm clip all of a sudden. Jack jerked in surprise. Had Allison gotten free?
Who's that?
Langston asked, frowning at him. And then Jack's brain caught up with him. It's Taneem, he said. Taneem, are you all right?
For now, yes.
Taneem said. Even in a whisper, Jack could hear the misery in her voice.
Jack, she lied to us. She lied to us, all of us.
Calm down, Taneem,
Draco said, gently but firmly.
Tell us what she lied about.
Everything.
Taneem said.
She's not a thief. She's General Aram Davi's daughter. I heard her say so.
Jack frowned. Why did that name sound familiar?
The Malison Ring's commander?
Langston demanded, sounding stunned. And then it clicked. Oh boy, Jack muttered.
No wonder she had his voice pattern on the SNA's computer.
Taneem continued.
No wonder she had such wonderful burglary equipment.
Okay, calm down, Jack said. Given Frost's shenanigans with Malice and Ring men and equipment, having Davi's daughter in the game may not be such a bad thing.
You don't understand,
Taneem said.
She's gone over to them. She and her father both. She's not in danger. She just pretended to be to get you and Dracos out of hiding.
Jack felt his stomach tighten. Then Neverland wasn't going to pull the Brumgas off the fox wolf and try to kill us?
He couldn't.
Taneem said.
Allison wrecked the troop carrier.
I'll be swiggled,
Langston said, peering at one of his displays.
She's right. There's a great big air leaking dent right in the side of it.
Okay, Jack said. He was rather surprised at how calm his voice sounded. We're definitely butter side down now. What do you think, Dracos? Now do we make a run for it? For a few seconds, there was nothing but the rapid flow of Dracos' thoughts against his mind.
No,
the Kadas said.
For one thing, Sergeant Langston's observations and calculations haven't changed. If Neverland truly hopes we'll try to escape, we must definitely not do so.
So we just walk into this other trap instead?
If it is, in fact, a trap,
Draco said.
Taneem, where are you right now?
In one of the ducts near Neverland's office,
Taneem said.
Not close enough for him to hear us.
How much of the conversation did you hear where Allison revealed her true identity?
All of it, I think.
Allison said.
They didn't believe her at first, but she had something hidden in her sleeve that proved it.
I'm sure she did,
Draco said.
Question, did she ever mention you?
There was a short pause.
No, she didn't.
Taneem said.
She said her father wanted you alive so they could learn the secret of how you can go onto people's skin.
But she never mentioned you,
Dracos persisted.
No, that I heard.
So what does that prove?
Langston asked, frowning. It proves she's still playing games, Jack told him, some of the weight lifting off his lungs. And not just with us.
What do you mean?
Tanim asked.
Is she not General Davvy's daughter, then?
I don't know who she is, Jack said. Not that I ever did, come to think of it. But if she'd really betrayed us, she should have betrayed you, too.
She did tell Neverland you'd been a useful ally while your goals weren't bumping heads.
Tanim said.
Maybe they still aren't.
Maybe, Jack said. Dracos?
I'm willing to trust her a while longer,
Dracos said. That's good enough for me, Jack said. It was almost the truth, too. Meanwhile, Tanim, you stay hidden. Listen in as much as you can, but stay hidden.
What about my 6-hour limit?
Tanim said.
Over half of that has already passed.
And Allison was probably going to be cooped up with Neverland and Frost for the rest of it, Jack suspected. That's okay. You and Dracos can take turns on me, he said. Just track us down after they lock us up.
All right,
Tanim said.
Be careful. I hope you're right about Allison.
We will, and we hope so too, Jack said. We'll talk to you later. The transmission clicked off.
That assumes they'll put you someplace where she can get to you,
Langston warned. And that we're not under constant surveillance, Jack said grimly. I know, but I don't know what else to do.
Maybe I can find you an excuse to go aboard later,
Langston suggested.
You still have that spare comm clip I lent Dracos?
Right here, Jack said, digging it out of his pocket and handing it over to the other. It's still set on our frequency.
Good,
Langston said, slipping it into his own pocket.
If I can get back in time, I'll give her a call and arrange a rendezvous.
But don't take any unnecessary risks,
Dracos warned.
At the moment, we want you alive and with as much freedom of movement as possible.
He's right, Jack seconded. Don't worry about Tanim. Between Allison and me, we should be able to cover her.
Okay,
Langston said.
You two watch yourselves. Whatever Neverland's got up his sleeve, I'm guessing you're not going to like it.